According to this article by the Columbus region, Columbus is expected to grow by 35% by 2050, having and homing almost 3 million people. Wow. And obviously with the migration patterns that are happening all across the country, we have to beg one question. Why specifically are so many people coming to Columbus? I want to talk to you about specific industrial growths, companies that are bringing multi-billions of dollars here, things that most people don't even talk about, but you absolutely have to know to make sure that we can help you address one specific notion. Are you going to be one of those 3 million? Let's find out. Now, the economy is absolutely going to affect lifestyle, right? And with companies like Amazon and now Anduril actively building here, it's going to be absolutely crazy. Anduril is a military defense company, and they just got approved to build a $5 million square feet manufacturing facility in Pickaway County. Whoa. This means 4,000 new jobs coming here and multi-billion dollars circulating in our economy. And it's not just military defense companies either. From data centers to retail, finance, and everything else in between, we're seeing such a massive growth here in Central Ohio that we're seeing more and more people coming here to obviously facilitate those transactions. You see, when you're thinking about living in Columbus and you're thinking about making a move to Ohio, one of the biggest questions that you must have is, hey, can I find a job? And the answer becomes unequivocally yes. You see, with so much of the growth actively happening in the east side, closer to places like Pickerton, Reynoldsburg, and even now New Albany and that specific quadrant, what we're seeing is a migration of these companies to all these other locations too. You see, Dublin is considered a secondary Columbus because of the fact that we're seeing so many tech people actively live there. We're also seeing more and more people obviously transmute to Columbus because of the fact that, well, they've now got a job. And if you're in that boat and you're obviously thinking, hey, where specifically should I go? I'm going to discuss some absolutely crazy reasons that are going to blow your mind for why specifically you should make this place your home. And especially as we're thinking about it from a company standpoint, let's think about it from our perspective too. Appreciation in these homes. We're also going to see more and more people obviously looking at rental properties. So if you have anything, a lot of them are going to need housing. You see, this is going to make things a little bit more tough, especially when you are thinking about getting into the housing market. But at the same time, what you are going to know is that appreciation is always going to be there, which is really a great thing. And what's a little ironic is the fact that Ohio is expected to lose around 6% of its population by 2050, but Columbus is expected to gain around another million or so. What's the dichotomy of Ohio and Columbus? Why are people leaving the rest of Ohio, but why are people actively coming here? We're going to talk about all those things. And it's not just specific locations in Central Ohio either. Delaware County is expected to grow by 50% in the next few years because so many people are actively coming there. Let me tell you, in Reynoldsburg, we're seeing at least 2 to 3 families actively buy new build communities, especially from the Nepali ethnic group. And I can speak to this because we're having so many active conversations with people looking to make that relocation here every single day. And that obviously talks to our first point, right? Job opportunities aren't just good, they're strategic. Because now Columbus isn't just focused on one specific industry to grow. It's got a ton of diversification, and for people, it's got job security alongside with it. I was talking to this guy on Instagram and he's like, again, you might think that the only projects that are happening are Intel, Facebook, and these other ones. But the fact of the matter is, even companies like NASA are actively looking at Columbus to make it their home. Crazy. And I know I might get roasted in the comment sections because that might not completely be true, but let me tell you this. If we're seeing and hearing a lot of these conversational pieces actively happening, think about what that means for you and what that appreciation is going to do, especially if you're debating between moving to Columbus now or moving in the next few years. I'd pull the trigger. Just saying. You know, so apparently I've been saying Scioto wrong my entire time here. I'm so sorry. It's pronounced Scioto and not Scioto. And the only reason I know this is because I was very much so flamed in my comment sections on my Instagram. And what's really funny is I posted something on my story saying, hey guys, I'm really sorry. And everyone was super duper chill about it. And that talks to the area of Columbus as a whole. People aren't just nice, they're actually kind. You know, people say the difference between the East Coast and the West Coast is in the West Coast, when your tire goes out, they're gonna say, boo-hoo, I'm sorry with you. In the East Coast, they're actually gonna help you fix it. And let me tell you, in the Midwestern area of Columbus, we get the juxtaposition of both those, empathy and action. And I might be obviously tripping here just because I'm like, oh my God, people in the comment sections were mean and then they were nice. No, let me talk to you. The area of Columbus, as we're seeing it, has some of the most kind people that I've ever met. And obviously there's going to be a few bad apples here and there, but as a whole, Columbus from a community standpoint is absolutely amazing. You see, we have a lot of events happening in Reynoldsburg, and let me tell you, it's not just like our specific community is there. We're seeing every single person come by and obviously support as well. And in the summertime and the fall time, when we've got things actively happening, we still get support every single day. And there's so many different news articles about some cultural event happening here or there that it's amazing to see so many people actually express themselves. And let me tell you, one of our favorite things to do, especially with our family, is just go for walks. It's kind of a tradition at this point. And we've got over 100 different parks. Not only that, one of the favorite things for a lot of people that actively make that move here is to go to the Bridge Park District and just hang out with their family, enjoy the environment, and just toss the old pigskin. But it's not just this, right? You've obviously got the field inside downtown Columbus, and you've got so many different areas that you've always got something to do. And now obviously we don't have the same excursions as big places like California or Miami, or even sometimes if you want to compare us to like Atlanta or Nashville. But it's not like we don't have anything at all. Now, albeit the mountain scene doesn't exist, and what would you expect? You're moving to Columbus, Ohio. But for the same reason, what you're not getting with the mountains, you're getting with green spaces. And let me tell you, the Four Seasons are absolutely beautiful. As of shooting this video, which is January 26th, we've only got about 14 more days for the sunset to actually happen in 6 p.m. now. Hurrah, huzzah, we've actually made it through the worst part of the winter. And we had some snow. Let me tell you, this one was one of the worser. This one was not the most fun winter for us, like 3 to 4 weeks period of time, but we got through it. And that's kind of what Columbus is all about, sticking together as a community and getting through the hard times together as well. You know, I tell you that a lot of people are actively coming here and our supply is low, but I want to add a caveat to this. Our median price range hovers around $295,000 to $300,000. Has it gone up in the last few years? 100%. But statistically speaking, home prices in the last 3 years have gone up 60% in their value. Whoa. And with the national average being over $450,000, it's a good thing that our prices are still so low. And that's why for people looking at that secondary home market and someone looking to invest, I mean, this is an absolute goldmine. Places over there in the Olentangy area, well, let me tell you, those homes, they're pretty. Yeah, we've got some pretty properties. And especially for the price point too, I've got some buddies that work in Lake Oswego, and let me tell you, those properties go for 5, 6, 7 million. Here, you're getting a pretty nice one for around 2. Now, it's obviously still a lot of money, but compared to other locations, especially with the trajectory for appreciation, it's kind of a no-brainer. Now, I've got a question. Are you guys more into the older style from like the 1960s, 70s kind of homes, or the modern homes that are building here that look absolutely avant-garde? Let me know the answer and I'll give one person a bottle of Stronger With You Intensely. No, I'm just kidding. It's my favorite cologne. But nonetheless, I'm kind of a cologne connoisseur. I have way too many of them. Nonetheless, what I'm trying to say more than anything else is we are a place where affordability meets quality. And that's not something that I can really say for many of these other locations, well, that my friends are working in. Even places like Dallas, which was affordable, is now absolutely going bonkers. You see, from meeting every kind of insurance alike, to more than $100 billion in transformations that are actively happening and over 500 people moving there a day, that's going crazy. In Tampa, Florida, Miami, and even Orlando, 300 people are moving there a day. I mean, the infrastructure there is definitely not meeting the needs of the people. So if we think we've got it bad, look over there. You know, guys, one of the biggest things that people look for when making that move to Columbus is the zoo. And I know, I'm shocked as you are, but I keep talking about this left and right. And the second thing, obviously, is going to be the schools. Our schools are fantastic. Places like Dublin and Olentangy have absolutely amazing schools. And that's kind of a no-brainer, right? What we're seeing is Dublin is currently the #1 ranked city school district in the entire Columbus area. Olyntony is ranked number 3, and in between them is New Albany. From an educational perspective, I mean, people are seeing their children obviously get some of the best schoolings around. And on the weekends, you've got the water park and also the Columbus Zoo to go to. Now let me tell you, you've also got the Scioto Mile that you can actually walk in with your family, and then you've got a bunch of different hiking trails, and about 45 minutes away, you've got Hawkins Hill to enjoy the beautiful, beautiful waterfall scenes. So from an educational perspective and ultimately just a family perspective, there's always something to do, which I think is pretty rad. You know, one of the things that we've noticed is that suburban areas are absolutely developing, but it's also meaning it's further away from central Ohio, which is why the 15-minute neighborhood initiative is a really cool program that ensures that people have access to work, school, healthcare, and groceries within a 15-minute commute. And these are just some of the basic projects that are actively being developed here. From things like the Easton Gateway expansion, which has added boutique shops and residential units, blending retail with upscale apartments, to the Franklinton's Art District, which is pioneering green spaces and public art projects, creating a future-forward vibe. We're seeing more and more things being developed in specific locations, which makes it less car-dependent. And I'm not saying that Ohio or Columbus isn't car-dependent, because we absolutely are, especially with all the things that are being developed in these suburban areas. What I am saying is that with more and more incentivization for growth, with more retail, with more tech, and with more everything happening in one specific place, you are not going to have to travel to a lot of these different locations and have to commute like crazy, which is a really good thing. Because for you, I'm guessing one of the big things is you want to come here and spend time with your family, because you're not just looking for a job, you're looking for a sense of community, you're looking for a vibe, you're looking for something that you can enjoy, well, the Saturday afternoon with the family. And there's always something to do here in Columbus, so you don't have to worry about that too much. You know, if you've been hidden under a rock, then you haven't seen that Ohio State is absolutely tearing stuff up. And on Instagram and Facebook, people are going pretty wild about it. But it's not just this. The Columbus Crew, well, we've got a crazy fan base as well. After their new stadium, which was built in 2021, people quickly realized one thing. It wasn't about just soccer. You see, a lot of sports and a lot of these activities do one thing. They bring folks together. And Columbus and our razzmatazz when it comes to just these sports alike, we've got some fanatic fans. And I'll try to post some videos here that you can see from Instagram of people just going absolutely crazy and wild. But for the most part, people love their sports. Let me tell you, I hope everything is rolling so you can kind of see it. We have a strong sense of unity when it comes to, well, number one, beating Michigan. And number two, when it comes to just how much we really care about the community as a whole. Places like OSU contribute billions of dollars in the economy here. We're seeing more medical sectors actively being built. Mount Carmel has a nursing school and a nursing hospital, and a lot of these community colleges are places that a lot of people are actively going to. Imagine your sons and daughter go to a Dublin school district, and then they go to OSU, and then they get to work here because there's so much tech happening. And the other crazy thing is we are about a day's drive from 60% of the entire country. Meaning that no matter where you're working, you've actually got the ability to come home. It's pretty cool. Especially if you're a truck driver. I've got friends of mine that their dads are truck drivers and they really haven't been around too much from when they were like 10 years old, and now they're in their early 20s. And it sucks not being able to see your parents, because that obviously does a lot of things for the children, and you know what I mean? But it's cool to think that obviously you've got the fact that you can hang out with your children at night. You can tuck your daughter in. And I don't want to say Columbus does this, but Columbus does this. And that's pretty cool. You know, our community and our sense of vibe is amazing. And more people are seeing that left and right. The projections of 3 million people isn't just an arbitrary number. It's based off of data, statistics, and the growth. The question then becomes this: are you going to be one of the pioneers of growth, or are you going to be left behind? Watch this video here to see if Dublin or New Albany is the right fit for you. See you soon. Bye.